Good evening, this is Warp Drive at Cerebro with Dancer in the Dark, and we have Demo here today with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. My name is Demo, real name is Omid, and I am a almost now 37-year-old living in the Bay Area, a male, and Iranian American, proud, and just been playing this dance game. I guess one of one of two dance games for many years. I would say so many years, as many, if not more, than folks who have been listening to this have been alive, I'm sure. So yeah, that's me. I also work in the user experience design research field, and I've been doing that as a career for about 14 years. So there's a lot of stuff in between, but overview, that is who I am.
And proud is a great word you've chosen because you have a lot to be proud of. Like, I see you as like a huge community leader, and like what you've done with democracy too has just been really great to get people like out of their shells charting. So you couldn't have introduced yourself better.
Thank you. Yeah, I love dance games a lot. It's arguably the main reason why I'm here talking with you. I hold you in high regard. I think that like the modern ITG in the group, which is the main community we overlap on, Warp Drive. That's kind of been my recent thing, but I've been in the Dance Revolution space. I've definitely played every dance game, but I think in terms of like communities I've really thrived in, been a huge part of, and thank you for the shout outs. Yeah, Democracy is a simfile or charting contest I run almost every year. It's in the 4th iteration, but we skipped a year. But yeah, happy to talk about DDR. Happy to talk about. I think we teased a little bit before when we were just saying hi to each other. We're going to talk about charting a bit today. Yeah, happy to go in any direction, really.
Yeah, charting philosophy is something I'd really love to pick your brain on. And actually, I'm kind of curious before we really dive into that. You said like every dance game, and I think personally you've picked the right one to be honing in on right now. I mean, if I had like, part of my experience is being able to go out and socialize, and that being more round one. Like, I love my DDR to death, but if I could like spawn in perfect ITG cabs into all the round ones, I have my preferences, but all the games are wonderful. If you're enjoying them, I still love my DDR to death. But I'm kind of curious, if you said most dance games, how was your pump arc if you had one?
I couldn't get into doubles. I feel like I played enough of the old mixes where I was passing 18s, 17s on single. And then like, I think that because of the type of player I am with respect to dance games, I am very much an accuracy player. So I enjoy pushing my physical limits for sure. I enjoy experiencing that step change and improvement. That's like kind of the thing that's kept me playing for, oh my God, 24 years, right? But I think the idea is, for me, pump, there's a fulcrum where pump starts to pivot onto, is this all about speed and readability and technique and 0% about accuracy. And I think it's like doubles 20, 21. I don't know. I'm not the right person to be like saying where it is exactly, but once I got there, it was kind of like the end of the singles path. And all doubles, and I just couldn't do it. I'm just not built like that.
Yeah, it's really cool that doubles is like an essential part of the game, but also,
super cool. Love to watch.
Oh yeah, the physicality is amazing, but yeah, I got walled being able to like consistently pass like anything. Actually, right about where you landed, that like maybe on a good day and the right skill set, like I could do a 20, but like the doubles, well, I can't even do like doubles 13s because that just melts my brain. Which different skill set? The skill set I've chosen to work on is questionable right now. Haha, DDR, haha. I can throw shade all day, but yeah, it's great that there's like different games to appeal to different like goals.
Yeah, my first experience with modern DDR, like the current mix world, was at an event, local event recently. So I had a great time. Like shout outs to those TOs, Romer and his team, Watson, Alex, etc. Yeah, it ran. It was like an hour and a half ahead of time, ahead of schedule. So amazing job. The DDR event was super fun. It was a multi-rhythm game event. Yeah, my point being, like, I think my number one gripe with DDR right now is just having to play with it on DDR hardware. Like, I think I could even forgive like the syncing stuff, and I could forgive like all the choices, timing windows, whatever. It's just like DDR hardware is so much worse than even SMX. Like I don't know. I just feel like Konami hardware is just so much worse than like the Rockstar Dedicabs made in 04.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how well they've held up.
Yeah, like it's just utterly insane to me. So I don't know. I think for me, it's different for a lot of ITG players, as you've I'm sure heard and experienced. But like I think for me personally, just to clear the air on your podcast, or I guess for our combo, for any combo we have, for me it's really just having to play on DDR hardware. I just think it's just not. Oh yeah, not for me. That's my number one turnoff.
Let me tell you about what I'm experiencing right now. My local white cab is down. Like, the computer is shot. Something happened. I know enough of the techs, and there's like a Discord for the arcade in particular, which is really cool that one of the techs set that up. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But computer is down, so I am currently... back in the day, since you've played so long, did you go to any of the Champions of the Coasts at 8 on the break?
I never got a chance to. The only one I traveled to was Rocky Mount.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so I'm currently... I am currently, quote-unquote, stranded at 8 on the break, and their cab is probably the best upgrade you will ever see, but it is also old hardware, exactly what you're saying. So it's still so much fun. I still enjoyed going, like, exponentially more so, too, because I got to see my friends, but I still did all the normal playing I would have been doing this weekend. I will live, and in fact, when I go to Japan in a few weeks, I will have a hopefully better hardware to play on, but it's just too much fun for me to not. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying about the hardware thing, because I'm experiencing it right now.
For sure.
But that is okay.
No, but to your point, dance games are life. Like, I'm just so... I feel like every year, I am just falling in love with a new part of the game or the community or whatever, and I think that like pertaining to our combo today, most recently I've just had such an appreciation for like folks like yourself and Zaya and Exwasion who can write really good lowers, and I think that writing lowers, which I will define as the way I'm using it as, roughly anything under a 12 on ITG scale, like maybe let's just even say 11. I think anything under 11 is probably considered a lower, but hard difficulty and lower, essentially, right? And man, I've just really enjoyed putting together this FA pack that I want to release soon. That's just going to be 8s to 11s. And it's just so interesting. It's just like yeah. So lately, even though I have this really hard tech pack I'm working on, that you've contributed a ton to, Warp Drive, and
THC.
I got that going on, which is that's what I'm known for, right? Like, I'm sure that's what you want to talk to me about.
Oh,
like
we're gonna get there, yeah.
Yeah, like the Matt Silver, like people I'm sure know Demo through Matt Silver or whatever, like if they know me at all, micro Pico celebrity or whatever. But yeah, I'll never forget Matt Silver being like a GDQ fundraising target. Like, that was hilarious. But I think that like I'm really this year, 2024, really closing the year, having really enjoyed just focusing on lower FA content. Quite interesting. Quite cool.
Yeah, that's the best part. There's like so much depth in what there is to explore. And like I was saying to you before we started that like there are different parts of like the charting brain that get itched, that like making Matt Silver, and let me sidetrack a second because I was thinking about this while I was driving back today, and like I think as far as iconic tech goes, like again, I've been in the community not quite as long as you. I'm gonna be 33 in a few weeks, but I have been in like with tech a while, and I think that like the iconic tech charts, I would say, are like, at least to me, like Arcology, Upshift, and Matt Silver being probably the most iconic in part, but one, difficulty, and two, GDQ. But yeah, those strike me as just, these are like history and like in the pantheon of like they still all hold up super well and like historical moment sort of significance, that you are one of like the godfathers of tech.
Thanks, dude. That means a lot coming from you, because I feel like, yeah, honestly, you know, I was saving this for the podcast, but I honestly feel like Lovely Text 2 really like changed my brain chemistry. Like, I feel like playing through that pack, I was like, okay, it's exactly how I feel about Chance today. And I think you were in my stream today, and I was talking about this as him being like Neo of today, of Neo, you know, from the Matrix of tech. But yeah, it's like when I play it through Lovely Text 2, I would like think I get it, but I can't do it, right? And like now with Chance charts, I think the same thing. I'm like, okay, I can see what he charted, but I can't do it. But you know, I just replayed some of Lovely Text 2 recently, and it's like, it's so cool, like how ahead of the time you were, and like I just really I think Zaya's really like that as well. And
Zaya is amazing.
I'm so appreciative of having people like you, and yeah, like Matt Silver is like I think what we're doing is making art, honestly, and I think that like Matt Silver is just a response to Lovely Text 2. You know, it's just like, I think it's just like you play, yeah, I think Skittles definitely has written those iconic charts, and Alex has written iconic charts, and everything is just like stuff building on other stuff. And so I think like Matt Silver is just like a fever dream of like, you know, the Alex, the Lovely Text 2, the Skittles, the Zaya. It's just like, oh, and now Exwasion's in the mix, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm sure we're gonna see Egg Carton 3 soon. So
it's a glorious time to be playing.
It really is.
But
it's so glorious.
I will say, like, that week when like everyone was streaming it, I remember the first time you called me smooth brained, and I'm like, oh, that makes me feel so good. Like, exactly, literally the word smooth brain. That week is just lives in my heart still. Like, the really good moments just are there forever. And I'll spare further, like, I could say the whole week with like the going out to Michigan to volunteer. I will recap the year like in a couple weeks before I fly out. But yeah, like, everyone building on each other is just so great, because we are, like you were saying, micro celebrity, pico celebrity, that like, we are a really small community. We are obviously like tiny drop in the gaming puddle, but like, we all know each other, we all build off of each other, and it's just like cool to see how things progress, and then look back and then realize like, okay, this crazy stuff is still crazy, but like now, almost 2025, like, look at all the crazy that exists right now.
Mm-hmm.
And bound to be so much more. Yeah, Ada is still amazing. And oh, actually, you know what? Speaking of good charts you have made, I got to play Gestalt today. 8 on the break does have an ITG. Oh, it was glorious. The pads, again, pad issues, because they side graded to beta SMXs before SMX was properly released. And well, I'm glad your experience was better than my experience, but chart was really fun. I love like Skittles. Yeah, it's like Skittles and then like really like 24th crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not at a Matt Silver level, but like, last year me would not be doing those crossovers at all. So like, I'd find some way to double step badly and eat more shit than I usually do. But yeah, like, it's crazy to see like, you get to develop with the charts, like skill set wise and charting wise, and then that kind of like reflects back. That like the Lovely Text like was I kind of chart what I play. Mm-hmm. And like, I made a couple of mod charts like an eternity ago, but then like me not being able to like read them kind of ended that. And also, I'm like, visual art I'm not as good at with. Like, charting is definitely an art, like, period. You get to express like what you accent in the songs, like what you feel like are the kind of musical crescendos, and like, it is absolutely 100% art. But like, in that, I try to reflect what I am really like into chart wise. Kind of like DDR has kind of like all the bizarre shit that's probably wrong, has kind of reflected in my charts. So, okay, I like to. One of my core philosophies is that, okay, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on, but like it all actually makes sense. Konami, you could take lessons from me. That like it all resolves properly. But something that like DDR has taught me, for better or worse, it is really fun to solve the puzzle, sort of, and
it super is.
Yeah, and like the discovery process is so much fun, even in like that micro level. Like you want the charts to actually work, but even at its worst, like being able to like look back and realize that you've learned to be able to do this is just so fulfilling.
Yep.
So, actually, okay. So, I'm curious, like, what, either uppers or lowers, because you getting into the FA timing arc even more so with, like, the lowers focus. Like, how do you, like, go from start to finish? Obviously, it's not going to be the same for every chart, but, like, just on a macro level.
Yeah. I think it's evolved over time, for sure. I think...
Well, that's good, because you're learning. We all
are. I for sure am. I think I've lately lowered my... It's not so much standards. It's more just like I've really adopted an attitude of like done's better than perfect.
And yeah, definitely.
I think it just took me a long time to actually... Like I would say that, but I wouldn't actually live it. And I think it's just like... It's so freeing to just basically be like... I'm writing down the first idea that comes to my head, and I'm just going to keep doing what is like, you know, what I think is fine, and then just like move on to the next section, and then just like play it, and then iterate. And I think that that's like, it's just so much easier to like mess with something that exists for me than like create it from scratch. So I just try to like I chart. So here's where I answer your question now. So I'll basically just like hear a song. I use YouTube Music. Okay. I was a Spotify sub for a long time, like 10 years, and I just literally canceled when I haven't looked back. Like YouTube Music is incredible. Like Google just knows more.
I've never actually tried
better engineers. Like I think Google just has better engineers, so I just like I prefer the music I get from them. They have like wider variety because like not all artists are on Spotify, but like way more on YouTube. Anyways, this is not an ad. But yeah, so I just like I have a lot of different ways I won't even get into of like just like digging for music I like. So I'll just like put on radios, like stuff to save it to my like playlist, and then just like if it sounds like, you know, step worthy, and then I'll literally just open Audacity. I actually just recently put a couple tutorials on my YouTube, but I'll open Audacity, cut it using my tutorial that's on my YouTube, and then that takes me like less than 10 minutes probably, and then I'll just jump into Aero Vortex, and Aero Vortex is my client of choice just because I'm used to it now.
Same
and it
here.
gives me mouse support. Yeah. And then I'll just, like I just said, like first idea, like I saved it to my playlist for a reason. So I'll just like, you know, go to that part. I'll just add steps to that part. It's probably a drop, whatever. And then I'll just try to like finish it in under an hour nowadays, and then play it on stream. Usually one or two people will have a comment or not. Waffles, shout out to Waffles. He's often an early viewer of my beta charts, but yeah, man, that's basically it. And then I'll like open Text Studio, which is what I use to make graphics, and just bang out something, and again, done better than perfect.
I'm so jealous of that you can get those drafts out in an hour, because I like stress myself out so much over like tiny details. And like, I respect it so much. And also, too, those tutorials were super helpful because I didn't know about the snapping thing in Audacity. Yeah. So go sub to Dimo's YouTube because it's incredibly useful, and you get to see all the beasting scores. But
thanks. Yeah, and I credit Tizza in the video too. Like Tizza's the one who told me about the update because I didn't know either, dude. Like I was on Audacity for other reasons, just like. Because it's like an easy way to add gain or remove gain if it's like, you know, just an easy way to just reduce the, you know, loudness. But yeah, had no idea. So shout out to Tizza. Yeah, making us all
Thank you, Tizza.
more efficient.
So mine, Actually curious too. Anything different from like uppers versus lowers, or I mean, I know like
Right.
you've been focused,
Yes,
like you said,
for
focus
sure.
more on it now, like the lower content, but
For sure. Yeah, so that was like an overview of just like my general flow of like start to finish. Definitely interesting now, given I'm working on two very different packs. So yeah, one is Tech Heavy Charts 2, which is my 2024 pack, which is just like files. Yeah, what I'm known for, like the matte silvery type of stuff, right? Like not everything's as crazy. I have like it's like eights to I'm gonna have lowers in there, so I'm gonna say it's like sevens and eights to like 16s or so. That's probably the range. So
yeah,
big
just
range.
imagine a pack
All
of
tech.
40 matte silvers. That would be
It's just no,
wild.
don't do that. No, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it would be wild. That's that. And then the other one is just all 8s to 11s. It's like low to medium tech. No to medium tech. And so number one for me is the music. I try to just follow what the music wants me to do with it. If you hear something like Matt Silver, for me, speaking personally, it is very hard in my mind's eye to hear Matt Silver and then imagine like an ITG 5 to that. Like it's just not that is just not ever a reality that I exist in, or like an imaginary one that I exist in. So when I hear Matt Silver, I'm thinking like absolute like just bullshit, craziness, because that's what the song evokes in my mind's eye, right? This is why like there's such a meme with me and anime music, which I know we feel differently on, but it's just like in my mind's eye, I hear, little children yelling. Like that is what I hear, and so I don't want to play that.
That is understandable.
Which is like, okay, it's like that's just my experience. Like music means a lot to me. So number one, music. Number two, I think that it's fun to do a thing, right? It's like the reason why I play tech is because it's just fun to do stuff with your body. Like we have a game where your body's the controller. So like there's people that can go as fast as possible. There's people that can go as long as possible. I like to just do
as much
weird
stuff as possible.
Yeah, I just like to do weird stuff that matches the music. And it's like we're getting so good at like we're getting so precise, and we're getting so we're really perfecting the art of like making you do stuff to music. And I think it's just so fun. It's so rewarding. Like today I was playing 30303 Expert 14 by Exwasion. Like that is so like there's so much to do in that song. There's so much to look at. There's so much to like the music is so repetitive, but yet somehow it's like so different. Every single 8 bars, it's so different. It's like very cool.
Yeah, that is just a testament to their great chart design, because repetitive songs kind of throw me. They're difficult for me to actually. There's actually so many great points for me to touch on from what you've said. But I mean, I'll start with the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I don't like all anime music, just most of it. you knew I had to go there first. There's some I can't.
It's all
defend,
good. It's all good.
But no. All memes aside, like generally, what I go by is that there are some Discord servers that like discuss like Comiket, like M3. I love my rhythm game core, Otoge, whatever music, and like that's what speaks to me. And maybe it's just I've played so much of it that's what like actually speaks to me on a listening level too. But my process is interesting. Generally it's like after I play, I come back and have like my recovery dinner, and that's always fun. But usually I like crack open those servers, look at what they're discussing, and go hunt down anything that sounds interesting from like the crossfades or whatever. Then I kind of like go through the songs, and like I need like a point to stick out. Like some like one chord, like a 5-second thing. Like actually, okay, so the lower to jackhammer that I made for you, a slight diversion here. Like, you know when I made those the hold switches on like the siren thing? Mm-hmm. Like that's the sort of thing that like I picked that just because it's a really recent example. But that like, okay, that is a really cool place to put some hold switches. And then the rest of the chart just kind of builds itself out. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, that's the only hold switch, oh, that's necessarily the focus. But basically, I am looking for a song that I find at least reasonably listenable. Now, see, the funny thing about that is what I consider listenable, if you, like, go back through my backlog of charts. So feel free to roast me in Blue Sky, preferably, because, Elon, you're making some bad decisions. But, yeah, like, I need a string to pull on, and then the rest kind of, like, comes out that, like, okay, I have all of these fun layers to work with, and, like, how to, like, put the pieces together with that main piece. Now, if I'm doing lowers too, the main piece is like there are less pieces, because I don't think 20 layers of 10 different texts is a good idea for like a 9. But like, you get that string and you like the song enough that it's like, okay, I want to commit to this, god damn it, and then it kind of just develops itself out from there. But also, yep. I make this joke so often amongst my friends and stuff, but like, okay, I'm nice and smooth-brained from 3-4 hours of DDR uppers, then recovery, and it's nice and late, that my brain has, like, the creative juices kind of just, like, leak out, that, like, okay, I'm nice and delirious, so the creative process kind of just happens more naturally. And, like, once I have those strings, then, you know, normal weekend hours, whatever, I can work on it when I'm done with all, like, the normal life stuff at home. That's when the chart, like, starts developing itself out. Just, my process is infinitely slower, because me being a nervous wreck, I double, like, question myself on, like, everything I do. So, that's why I don't release anything, like, more than once a year. But it's really a wonderful process, and gets me to discover a bunch of artists that I never would have run into. I can very specifically, all the crazy fun stuff that has happened from, like, knowing jorts and being able to be on Club Fantastic and all that stuff was because some 2 a.m. I was on SoundCloud looking for, like, specifically, I want to say the tag I was going by was, like, high tech, but some tag, and it's like, ooh, this jorts guy, who is he? And then so much magic has just happened. So
he's so great. Shout out to jorts.
100%. And yeah, like, the same sort of thing, like, I know you enjoy, and I see you play Baseline and Sexy, like, the side switches back and forth, that was hearing that, and I'm like, okay, this sounds like that. And then the rest of the chart just kind of came together from that being the center.
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of so like, sick. You gotta have, thank you, you gotta have that sort of thing, at least how my head operates. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how I saw Matt Silver. I think it's just like, like the main drop. It's just like, you just got to do some crazy shit there. And I was just like, okay, what if I just did that back and forth? It's like, okay, that's really, really, really fucking hard. And it kind of goes with the music. It's like, it's not perfect. It alternates. It's like, you know, I'm aware of, like, you know, the intricacies of the patterning. And it's like, it's all intentional. It's like, it's you know, it's just like, it's just meant to fuck with you. It's like, the song is cacophonous. It's not like a real song. Anybody,
no, I think it's a real song. Like I said, I love that sort of music.
Any reasonable American in 2024 would hear that and turn it off. Like, but
so what you're saying is we're not
my
reasonable.
Brain is weird.
Oh no. Yeah, same here.
I think I'm exceptional, so I'm okay with that. Like, I don't, you know.
Something that I've tried to level with myself on is to be more proud of myself, because I'm really hard on myself, and I say this to say you are exceptional and you should be proud. But
thanks. Yeah, so are you. Yeah, you should be too.
Thank you. It's
just
still,
do
it. It's hard for me to process it, to be honest.
Be about
it still is. Yeah, but we're all developing, and just hearing you, like, kind of you're in the same sort of space
it's
with
true.
Like
it's true.
having that moment, like, song wise, and this has been a good ad for YouTube Plus too, but just, like, internalizing the don't worry about perfection, like, even if I'm gonna go back and, like, agonize over everything, just to have that draft down is really just something that I should be trying to focus in on more going forward. And I mean, it's a little late now, since hopefully I'm thinking soon after I come back. There's something I'm waiting on that's going to be a fun special surprise for Tech 6, but
Nice.
I'm thinking late January, maybe. But yeah, for 7, Jesus Christ, 7 of it. Saying that out loud with someone listening to me, yeah, I'm happy I've made so much stuff, but god damn. Yeah, it's crazy. I've been honing in. But, like, yeah, to try to not agonize enough, at least at first, would be something that I should really take from this. So thank you for saying that, because we are all learning, and it's just so good to have the foundations. So, neat 2025 goal for me. But, yeah, thank you so much. And it's been very eye-opening, and it'll be great for me to think about what goes into the iconic tech.
Can't wait.
And also, too, like, that our music preferences are, while probably cut from the same cloth, somewhat different, and I would hope, too, everyone has their own preferences, and it's good to, like, bounce back and forth off each other, that, like, I can, like, get those moments from, like, the lowers that I am picking for THC are just, I have those moments. I kind of, like, scroll through the Stepmania wheel, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and then I listen to the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, hey, there we go, there's the moment, let's start sending it.
No, I love that. I think that's how all sim files should be made. If all sim files are made that way, we would have a lot of good sim files. And I think
and we
honestly,
already do.
That is what's happening. So,
but we get even more. And
hell yeah.
You, again, like I was saying with democracy, is it like democracy? Because I'm pronouncing it closer to the actual word. Like, is there a canon pronunciation for this?
Yeah, I mean, the canon is whatever sounds correct, because it's like the word itself, the word democracy itself is close enough to my name plus Cressy. So it's really funny. I think that's the whole joke, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Yeah, no, my pronunciation has historically been terrible on, like, everything, and I'm also really bad with names.
Democracy, like, okay, here's okay, with I have a California accent, right? So, like, with my accent, if I say either word, you won't be able to tell me which word I'm saying, right? That is the canonical pronunciation.
Okay, so
democracy, which one am I saying?
Well, I mean, I'm barking up the wrong tree here, because you got to pick the answer. So it's like, heads I win, like, tails you lose.
Democracy. I don't know. They sound the same to me.
I think what I'm getting from this is that I need to do that sort of naming so I can say whatever I think is right and not risk my poor pronunciation. But
do people get lovely text wrong?
No, but, you know, if I ever make some sort of bad pun name, I will have to keep this in mind. I mean, technically, if I'm making music under Cerbero, whatever, yeah, that you pronounce anything I do however the hell you want. You could tell me I'm wrong on my own thing, because I'll totally buy it.
Oh, I thought your name was Rap Drive. Oops.
No, you say that, but, like, ATB calls me Rap is kind of like a joke, and I find that adorable.
That's really funny.
Also, ATB, you're wonderful too, but yeah. I don't know where that came about, but it's close. Maybe he, like, had the sort of moment I have where I just, like, transpose the letters wrong. But
yep.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Normally I'd have, like, a cookie tasting segment on here, but it's still in the mail. So let me know how it treats you. I already took pictures, so you have no need to.
Nice.
Do you want me to spoil the surprise or not? Because there's a bit of lore with it, but I can wait on that if you'd like.
Why don't I wait till I get it, and then you can give me the lore.
Will do.
Sweet.
Okay. So, it is very sweet.
Will not know.
Yeah, they won't know either. And that will be for eventually. Wednesday, the mail says, but whenever you feel like eating it, it'll keep really well. But anyway,
awesome.
Thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for being just, like, a great leader. And thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for saying so. Yeah, I'm glad you have a dance game podcast. I think it's like, I used to have I used to participate in one as well, and they're really fun to do. So yeah, props to you for keeping it up. Props for having one of my besties on earlier, Tiza. That's another great dude. But yeah, thanks for all the kind words, and this was really fun. Hope people got energized to write some more charts, play some ITG, because let's face it, you don't want to go play weeb music on DDLG.
Facts. Have yourself a great night. Thanks again. This is Warp Drive at Cerebro with Demo for Dancer in the Dark. Take care.